So once again, everybody, welcome to today's class. And I believe we are all good, and I believe we are all making progress in our UI UX journey. And I can't wait to see the magic you all will be creating very soon. And I hope you guys will do better than your tutor. So today we are going to be designing a food landing page. So we've done the flowchart for our product. We've done the mobile application. So we're going to do a landing page that just have brief information of what our products actually look like, or the services that they render, testimonial from other people, and also maybe, yeah, and few informations about the products, and then a button that will direct them to go and download the mobile application either from Google Play Store or iOS store, Apple Store. So I have dropped, so I saw these two landing page from Figma community, and I would love us to actually replicate them. Although we're not going to replicate the both of them, what we want is just one landing page, a web view and a mobile view, so that people can actually view from a larger screen and from a smaller screen. So I picked these two because I love some information on this screen, and I also love some information on this screen. So I'm going to be mixing the both of them together. So I have dropped some of the images and elements that I'm going to use for this new design. And we are going to be using our style guide that we have created, the icon collection, the button, the input field. We're going to be using that, and we're also going to be using our local styles, which we created in our previous class when we're trying to do some visual design techniques. And we're going to create a new style guide because a new grid system, because now we are designing with a larger screen, and we did not create for a larger screen. We just created for only a mobile screen, because what we were focusing on was just the mobile application. So now we're going to, first thing first is we're going to create a style guide. Sorry, we're going to create a layout grid for the larger screen. So I'm using desktop frame of 1440, and I increase the frame to the length I want. So once I'm done with the design, I'll then have to adjust it. But for now, I just increase it so that I will start designing. And once I'm done, I'm just going to adjust it to fit the perfect sizes of my design. Now, first thing first is I'm going to create my layout grid. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to click on this to create our layout grid. So the same way we created for the mobile, that's how we are going to create for the web. But in this aspect, we are going to have double. That is, on our mobile we use 6, but in the web we're going to use 12. So what we are going to do, our count is going to be 12. So I'm just going to click on this and then select 12. I'm always using this default size for the gutter, which is the space between the first count and the second count. Then for the margin, I'm going to use 80 for my margin, which is the space between here and here. And I think I'm okay with 80. But if I design my the header, and I see that the space is too much or too small, and then I'll have to adjust it again. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm using 12 count, I'm using margin of 80, and the gutter is 20. So I'm going to set that for my local styles. So I'm going to click on these styles, and I'm going to click on this, and then I'll just name it to web grid. So once I name it to web grid, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to have web and mobile grid. So if I click here, I can choose to turn it off or choose to turn it on. So I'll be using this logo from this other design, but remember, we're going to adjust everything to our color, our font. We're going to use everything from our style guide that we created the previous time. So that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to pick this I'm going to pick this logo from this design and then change it to my own. I think I love this logo, so that's why I'm going to use this logo. So sorry, where is it? Okay, now this is it. Okay, so I'm going to use this logo and I'm going to change it to my icon name, my text type or text choice, and I'm going to change it to the name I'm already using. So what I'm using was Marvin Food. So this is the name of my product, and I'm going to change it to my own. I'm going to use my own. So I'm going to use 24, and I'm going to change the color to brown. And I think I love this, but I'm going to change the yellow to my main color just to fit in my color. So I'm going to hold both of them and then make it auto layout. Remember I said designing with auto layout is perfect. It's will be just very, very easy for you to just play around with. Now, so I'm going to make this to auto layout. So I'm going to right click to either add auto layout or use your shift key to do shift A. Now I'm going to come to this auto layout setting to set this. Now you can see that this text is done and this is actually at the top. So I'm just going to come here to set it. So this is okay for me. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to design this text here. So I'll be using home, menu, about, and then contact us, or maybe FAQ, or wherever you want to add, is okay for you. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on this text. I'm going to place it here and I'm going to write home. So this is what it's going to show me. So the reason why it's giving me this is because of the previous setting for my logo, the text I use. That's why it's giving me that one. So I'm going to bring this frame here. I'm going to drop it this place. So I'm going to drop it here. I'm going to bring this here. So once I keep this here, I'm going to set it. So I want to create this as a text link. When my cursor hover on it, it automatically change, like it just change color. So that's what I want to do. So I'm going to keep this here and I'm going to set the right font. So I'm going to click here and I'm not going to use 24 because 24 is more like the heading, or is more like the heading text, which is going to be very, very big. So what I'm going to be using here is 18 regular, which is what we've already set. So I'm going to use our big body text. So this is what I'm going to place here, and I'm going to select the this color. So the reason why I'm using this color is because it is the page that we are designing, but every other sub page, I'm just going to make it the normal black color that I want to use. But when I want to do here now, so I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate it, or we are going to make it a component first. We want to make a component, then we are going to add a variant to it. So it will be back. Okay. So I want to create hover link. So I have home. So here what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this just the dark color. So I'm just going to select this as the dark color, and this is what I have here. So I'm just going to change this to regular. Yeah. So I'm just going to make this home. So I'm going to duplicate this. So once I duplicate it, I'm going to change it. So I'm going to change this to menu. So I'm going to change this to menu and come here and change this to menu. So once I change this to menu, I will automatically move, I'm going to move this to the top. So I'm going to move the colored one to the done and then this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom in and hold this to just automatically change it. So that will only work if this pink circle can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I got disconnected. So I got disconnected. If I get disconnected again, I think I will have to switch my network. Can you guys see my screen now?
No, no, we can't see the screen.
Okay. Thinking of. Can you now?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
If I get disconnected again, I'm going to switch my network. Sorry. Okay. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. So I want to create. Remember, I said I want to create this other header here. So we have home, we have menu. We're going to have about FAQ and then any other thing we want to add here. So I'm going to go back to my design. So I'm creating this text link. So here is going to be. So this is going to be how it works, which is our services. So here is going to be how it works. So I'm going to hold this and then expand this way. I'm going to put it the same way here. So I can just reduce this. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Yeah. So I'm going to change this. I'm just going to copy this text here and then replace it here. So this next one is going to be FAQ. So the next one is going to be FAQ. Frequently asked questions, and this is going to be FAQ. This is going to be in capital. And then we have maybe contact. So I'm just going to highlight this and then push it this way. I'm going to leave this, push it this way. And I'm going to bring this way. So this is going to be contact us. I'm going to change the same thing here. Contact us. I'm just going to copy this text here. So I'm just going to copy this text here and then I just want to rename them so I won't make mistake when looking at them. So now we've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text link that we're going to add in our header, and then we're going to bring our button. So this is what I have here. So let's expand. Let me expand this way. I'm just going to keep it here because it's what I'm using. So let's now create text over. So I'm going to come here. So first thing here is going to be so I'm going to just click this and drag it this way. So I'm going to click on this on click and come to Y hovering, and this is what I have. So I'm going to do the same thing for all these ones. This is going to be like this. Come here, Y hovering. This here. I'm going to click. Okay, I think there's a mistake. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So going to remove this. The same thing I did here. That's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to bring this here and click this while hovering. So same thing for here, move down. So now I notice that if I click this, it didn't cover very well. So I'm just going to drag it. I'm going to go back to my design and drag it to be inside the box. Same thing for here. I'll make sure that it's inside the box. So I'm going to check here. I'm going to reduce it. Okay, if I reduce it, this is how it turned out to be. So I'm going to leave it that way. So same thing for here. I'll make sure that it's actually inside the box. Because if it's small, when you're trying to adjust it using auto layout, you're not going to have the same spacing. So I'm going to go back to my prototype, show prototype to see where I stop, and then I'm going to continue like this. So this is going to be Y ovarian. So this is what I have. So I'm going to drag all of them. So I'm going to drag all of them back. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click this, click this, click this, this, and this. So once I click it, I'm just going to drag it. So once I'm doing, I'm just going to drag it inside here. So I'm going to hold all of them and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I can come here to adjust it the way I want to adjust it. So this is what I have. So I'm just going to place it here. And I'm going to hold these two. And then I'm going to adjust it very well too. So I'm going to add my button. So let's go back to our style guide. So let's go back to our style guide. Okay, so this is our style guide, and we have already created our hover button. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to delete this one and then create our hover button. So this is going to be active and hover button. Remember, we are using this color for our hover button and we're using this. So I'm just going to pick our button the way I want our button to look like. Then I'll have to go back to my landing page and then I'll come here. Then I'm going to paste it here. So once I paste this here, I will remove it from components. So I'm going to remove it from component like this, detach instance. So once I remove it this way, this is how it's going to look like. The first button that we created. So I'm going to change the text to sign up. So I'm going to change the text to sign up. So once I change the text to sign up, I'm going to make it component and I'm going to add variant. So once I add variant, this is going to be active button and this is going to be hover button. So I'm going to change this color now to primary color 1. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to do the same thing I did for the text link. Just drag it this way and then come here while hovering. So this is what we have. I'll come back to my design and I'm going to pick this button and drag it this way inside my design. So I'm going to hold all of them and then adjust vertical. So I'm just going to hold vertical and I'm going to hold this to be sure that the same space here is the same space here. So here I'm having 80 and here I'm having 82. So I'm just going to bring this in and then make it 80. So I'm going to hold these two together and then make it auto layout. So I'm just going to adjust this. I'm going to adjust this button a little bit because I want it to be just a bit long. So I'm going to hold these together and then bring the button inside. So 80 and I'm going to hold this my logo and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to check if the space here and the space here actually matching with what I set for my grid. So I'm going to hold these two together, all of them together, and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm just going to drag it here and drag it here. And once I'm done, I'm just going to drag it to the top, and then I'll come to my auto layout and then set to center. So once I set to center, I'm just going to zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in to drag this to be 80. Yeah. So you can just come here and then set it 80. And then same thing applies here. So here I have 80 and here I have 80. Now let's check this header that we just created. So we've already previewed our work to see. So you can see what I just explained here. So I'm not clicking anything. I only just touch my cursor and it's changing. So now, how if I scroll up, everything is moving. So how do I make my user to know that this place is just the header and this is actually going to be fixed in a position? Now you can see my button. I just move this way and it just responded. So now let's go back to the design. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop shadow here to indicate that this place is actually the header. So I'm just going to scroll down to effects. I'm going to click on it. So once I click on it, I notice that all my texts are having shadow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove it and then go back to my fill color and give it a fill color first. So once I can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so can you see my screen too?
No. Can't see your
No,
screen.
see your screen.
Okay, I think I have switched my network. Let's start again. Can you now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that. Okay, I was trying to create the header before I got disconnected by Almighty Ether. So we're trying to create header. So this is how we look like after adding drop shadow. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to undo what I did. So I'm going to explain it for everybody to understand. So now we preview and this is what we are having here. So and now I want to separate this from this white background. What do I do? First thing first is you will come to this effect. But before doing adding this effect, so if you add this effect, this is how it's going to look like. Now we don't want to add shadow in any of the text. We just want to add inside this box. So you're going to just close the eye or turn it off and then come to this place and add a fill color. So once you add a fill color, then you can now turn the icon, the shadow, turn it on. So once you turn it on, this is how it's going to look like. Now let's set this drop shadow. So I'm going to click on it and I'll scroll down and then I'm going to click on these settings here. So I'm going to take this to the top. So I'm going to use blur of 15 and I'm going to use Y6. So I'm going to reduce the drop shadow. So I'm going to reduce the opacity. So I think I'm okay like this. Okay, I think I'm okay like this. So this is what I have. So I'm just going to close it. So this is what I have. Now let's preview and see. Okay, so let's wait for it to load. So I'm going to preview it again and then set it. So this is what we have. So I'm going to set it, pick the width, and then pick out this one. So I think it has not reflected because of bad network. So we wait for it to reflect while we are doing other screens. So let's check it out again. Okay, finally it has reflected. So this is what it looked like. So let's just test what is done. So this is what it looked like. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my design and I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this in a position. So I'm going to fix this in a position because if I scroll, it's actually moving. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to come to prototype, and then I'll come to this scroll behavior, and I'm going to fix on it, and it's going to be fix, stay in a place. So this is how it looks like. I'll come back to my design, come back to this place. So you see that I'm moving my mouse, but this is actually fixed in a position. So I'm moving my mouse. So by the time I start adding other sections on this landing page, you'll see that this is actually fixed in a position. So you can see this hover text I just did here. So this is how it looks like. Then this is our button, and this is it. So let's go back to our design. So we are done creating the header. So once I've fixed the header in a position, this is how it's going to look like on my layer. So I'm just going to rename this to header. And once I'm done, I'm just going to lock it. Good. So we are done with it. So the next section I'm going to be designing is going to be this particular section. So I think I love how this looks like, unlike this. So I'm going to use this particular hero section, for our design. So we already have the image here. So, but if you choose to use another image, you can please go ahead to use another image. So I'm just going to drag this image here and I'm going to align with center. I'm going to bring this here. So let's see if we can get another image that is maybe nice. So you can just right click, go to your plugin, let me open my saved login. So once I open my saved login, so I already have, so I don't have it here. So I'm just going to search it. So what I'm looking for is Unsplash. So I'm going to look for Unsplash. So I'm going to click on plugin here. So I'm going to click on run. So let's wait for it to load. So we can click on this search. So this is how it looks like. So we are going to click on this search bar and then search for food. So this is how it looks like. So you can choose to use any image of your choice you want. Yeah. So here you can just choose any image of your choice. So you can see how the images are get. So anyone that has this lock icon means that you have the image is not free. So if you use it, you're going to see a lot of watermark from Unsplash or Adobe, and the image is going to be very, very blurred. So you can see that there are a lot of images. So we're going to just use this particular one from that design. So I'm just going to turn this off and I'm going to come here to save my plugin. So I'm going to save it to always use it frequently. So this is what we have here. So the next thing, now you can see that it's showing me that my plugin has been saved. So the next thing I'm going to design now, I want to design this text, your favorite food delivered to you, the body text, and then the button. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on my text and I'll drop it here. And then I'll write your favorite food or to your doorstep or to your home, wherever you want to use. So I'm going to use the highest I have here. So the highest I have here is 24. Now you remember when I was saying that it is not compulsory that it is. Remember when I said in our last class that if you are designing and you find out that this particular header text might be too small or too big, you can adjust that from your style guide and your local styles. Now, our highest we have here is 24, and 24 is actually too small for this design. Now, look at what we have. So, let it load. So, I will show you what we have. Now, look at what we have. Now, you can see that this text is looking too small. Yeah. So, and this is the highest that we've set. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the one that is actually a perfect size for this, my design. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'm going to click on it. So I'm going to turn this to capital letter first. So let's turn this Y. So I'm going to, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to use big text to see how we turn out to be. So I'll be using 40. So I'm going to place it at the center and I'm going to check it out. Okay, this is what I have. And then I'll come here and I'm going to use bold. So I'm going to see it. Okay. So this is what I have here. So now once I've set this, I'm going to set this as my local style. So this is going to be like my, you can give it whatever name, you can give it biggest heading 1. So this is what we have. So I'm going to come here and then click here, click here. I'm going to close this and I'm going to open this. So I'm going to drag this to this place to be here. So that will only work if you're comfortable with the size that you select, which is perfect for me. So the next one I'm going to design the body text. So I'm going to select 18 regular. So this is what I'm going to add here. So I'm going to use my plugin to create dummy text. So I'm going to use content array. So I'm going to click on text here. I'm going to click this. Just going to click this. So if I click this, automatically I have some dummy text. Now it is time for me to arrange them. So I'm going to zoom out, go here, and then drag them inside. So once I drag them inside, I'm just going to align it to the center. So this is what I have. But now the text is too much. So I'm just going to reduce it from this one. Or let's try from this first. Okay. I'm going to just from here. So this is what I'm going to have. I'm going to come to this my design to see how it turns out to be. So I'm thinking of adding this to the left instead of at the center. Let this image be this place. So let's play around with it. So I'm going to drag this to this way, align to the left, and I'm going to change this text instead of center to be at the left hand side. So this is what I have, and I'm going to drag it this place. And let's see if you can play around with this image. So this is what we have. So I'm going to drag it this way. Okay, it won't work. So let's see if we can expand it a little bit, and let's see if we can come to the image to play around with it. So let's crop it, take this way, and then drag it a little bit so that the border will show. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'm just going to turn it out. So this is what I have. So let's see if the image, now the image is perfect. This burger looks so delicious. Wow. So this is what we have. So but I'm going to drag this image to get to this point, at least bring it down a little instead of allowing my hero section to just hang like a crop top. So I'm just going to come here and then since we've already placed it on crop, so if you drag it when an image is on crop, this is what you do, is to stretch. So we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my image. I'm going to drag this here. Then I will have to bring this image here down a little bit, and I'm going to close it. So let's see. Okay, this is actually nice. This is okay. So I'm going to bring now my text to arrange it this way. So I'm going to turn my layout grid on. So I'm going to turn my layout grid on. So I'm going to place this text here. So I'm going to drag this here. I'm going to bring this here. So let's see how it turned out to be. Okay, this is nice. So I'm going to hold these two and then adjust it very well, align to the left, and then I'll have to add my button. So I'm going to be using my active button that says get started or wherever you want to use, or contact us, or order now. Whatever write-up you want to use is okay. So this is what I have. So now this is what I have. So, but before that, I want to adjust this image. I don't like the way it's outside, because by the time we do our auto layout, this is how it's going to be. So you will not adjust your image like this. You spoil what you've done. So I'm going to do the same cropping. So I'm just going to hold it here, and then I'm going to drag it inside the screen. So I'm going to zoom in to see what I'm doing. And this is it. I'm going to close it. Now you can see that the image is actually having my width frame size. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my button. So yeah, I can just say let's just use the word order now, contact us. Okay, let's use order now. So I'm going to use order now, and I'm going to keep this here and hold this here, and then I'll make it auto layout. Or you can first make your title and your body auto layout first, and then I'm going to adjust the space. So I'll be using 20 between the title and the body text, and then I'll hold my button, and then I'll make it auto layout. So once I make auto layout, make sure that the adjustment is aligned to the left. So once I'm done like this and I am satisfied with what I have done so far here, so I'm just going to make this first section auto layout. So I'm just going to hold these two and then put, if you make it auto layout, this is how it's going to turn out to be. It's actually going to just pick everything, which is actually going to scatter our setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with the image again to align everything. So I'm just going to come here, click on my crop, and then I'll just crop the image a little. Okay, I think this is okay. So this is, I've gotten what I want. So now I have my hero section set. So if I scroll, you can see that even if I scroll, this is actually fixed in a position. So I have created my hero section. So I think this is looking nice. So this is actually beautiful. So I think we are good to go. So I'll just have to increase this button a little bit instead of having it too tiny here. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'm going to click on this button. I'll just have to adjust the width of the button to get to this point. So this is what you are going to have. Okay, I think this is okay. So let's try what we've done so far. So you can see that we've done this, the button, and then this button also. Now let's continue designing the body and other section in the body of the landing page. So this is called header, and from here to this place is called the hero section. So what we are going to do is we are going to leave this way. Now you're not going to fix this particular place. You're not going to fix it because it's actually the landing page that needs to scroll. The only place we actually fix is just the header. That's what we fixed. So let's continue with the other section in the body of the landing page. So the next place I'm going to design is this image and maybe something that says download the app and then some write-up. So I already have this image. So I'm just going to do this image So I'm just going to bring this image here. So once I place this image here, now I'm going to create this title, take a test, come join us, life so endless delicious. So and then body text and a button that says download the app. So I'm just going to place this here and I'm going to click on my text and says um so let's just say take a test. So take a test, come join us. So this is what I have, and I'm going to use 24. So this is what 24 look like. Now, remember the style guide, the text styles we created are only for mobile. Now, this is what we are going to do. So if you're adding another local text style for here, make sure you're adding it on your style guide so that whoever that comes to your design, we know what is here and what is there. So the only reason that a developer can see your local style there is if they have access to edit on your file. That's when they can see this. But if they don't have access to edit and they can't see it this way. So if I give everybody access to edit on this file, you can see this, but if you don't have access to edit, you can only just view. You can just click on it and then the information will show here. So I'll be using a bigger text here. So I'm going to use 32. So let's see 38. I'm going to preview and see how it looks like. Okay, I think 38 is too much. So I'll be using 32. So I think 32 is okay. So I'm going to take this image. I'm going to hold this image and then I'll drop it here. So I'll be using this here. So I'm going to set that as a local styles. So I'm going to use big. So this is what I have. So I'm going to use my color for it. So I'm going to be using this. So remember to set it to your color. Very, very important. Make sure you're using your white color. So I'm going to be using my white color for it. So this is what I have. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this and I'll just have to copy this my body text here and just paste it here. So or you can just use another dummy text for this. I'm going to be using my preferred. So I'm going to use this. So let's see how it turned out to be. This is how it turned out to be. I'm going to come here and I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use my dark gray because it's a body text. This is what I have and I'm going to make these two auto layout. So once I make these two auto layout, I'm going to go and get my App Store and Google Store batch. So I'm not going to use the normal button, but if you choose to use the normal button, you can go ahead and use it. So let's go and get the App Store and then Google Play Store batch. You can call it button, but I do call it batch. So let's go and look for it. So I'm going to say store batch. Okay, so this is it. So this is it here. So I'll be using this or this. I'll be using this. So open a Figma. So let's wait for it to load. Okay. Okay, so this is it. So I'm just going to copy this too and come to my design here, and then I'm going to paste it. So if I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to make both of them auto layout, and then I'm going to make it stretch. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to put it this way. So I'm going to hold this. So I'm going to drag it this way. I'm going to bring it this way. So this is what I have, and I'm going to make this auto layout, and then this is my image to auto layout. So when I make my image auto layout, I'm just going to drag this to get to this point here. So this is what I have here. So this is what I have here. So you can choose to add your button, but you can choose to add this. So whichever way you want to. But I think I'll prefer to add this to either Android users to just click on this, or iOS users to just click on this. So I'll go back to my design and I will hold this to again auto layout, and then I'll just have to drag this to this point here and this to this point here, and then I'll place to the center. So once I place to the center, I'll just have to take this, make it 80. So this is just going to be 80 left and right. So this is it, 80. And then I'm just going to keep it this way. So I'll take it to the top here. And I'm going to drag it a bit down here, because I don't want this image to get to the top. So I'm just going to drag, let's say I'm going to work with 720 or 730, the height, and then I'll place it at the center. So this is what I have. This is what I have here like this. So I've done this, and this is what I have. So I'm just going to take this a little bit down because the space is not much. So I'm just going to take it down, and I have 62. So I'm going to make the space between them to be 60. So I'm going to make the space between them 60. Now I have created my hero section and the first set on the body of the landing page. So now let's test what we've done so far. So this is what I have done so far. So this is what I have done so far. So let's scroll and then see. I love this. I love this. This is so fine. So let's continue. Now the next section we are going to design on the home page is going to be this section here. This ones here. So that is what we are going to design. So here we are going to use our own images, maybe food images, restaurants images, or whatever we want to use. So the next thing I'm going to design is popular restaurants. That's what I'm going to use, and then this button here. So I'm going to come back to my design. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'm just going to click on text here, and I'm going to make this popular restaurants. Please, if you cannot hear me, let me know. So this is going to be 20 here. So I'm just going to place this here. So let's see how 20 turn out to be. The 20 is actually looking too small. So I'm going to go to my heading 1. Yeah, yes. So once I'm done, I want to create this button that shows view all, see more, or whatever you want to use. So that's what I'm going to do there. So I'm just going to duplicate this here. So if you want to make it highlight like this, all you have to do is just so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to drag this place. So I'm going to change the name to see or view or learn more or whatever pod you want to use. Now, so I'm just going to come to this place and then I'm going to bring my arrow and add. So this is going to be, so this is actually showing long. So I'm just going to reduce it. Yeah, same thing here. I'm going to click on it inside. I'm going to reduce it. Now remember, I am not reducing the box, but rather I'm reducing the text. So I'm going to get my arrow for C or. So I'm going to make it. Okay, so I'm going to use so I'm looking for an arrow that is facing the right hand side. So since all of them are pointing up, so I think we'll just have to use this. So I'll be using, let me look for the small one. So I'll be using this. So I'll just drag it in here. So I'll then close it. So once I drag, I'm just going to turn it to face the right hand side. So this is going to be minus 90. So this is what I have. Just going to bring it here. And there is going to be view all. So same thing applies here, view all. So I'm going to drag this a little bit. Once we are done, I'm just going to adjust it. So I'm going to copy this, hold this text here. Sorry, I'm going to hold this box that says dark and I'm going to paste it inside. So once I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to hold these two together and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'll just come here, adjust it to the horizontal. Okay. So I don't like this space between them. So I'm just going to give this space this way. So I'm just going to use 15. And the same thing I did here, that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to copy this, click on this colored box here, and I'm going to paste it inside. So once I paste it inside, this is how it's going to look like. And I'm going to hold it together with the text and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. I'll just come here to make it face horizontally. And then I'll hold this. So I already have the space here, 15. So I'm just going to hold this 2 and then make it 15. Sorry, this is actually not in auto layout. So I'm just going to make it auto layout. And then I'm going to hold this together. So I'm going to make it 15 here. So I'm going to make it 15 this way. And I'm going to drag this box to be the same way this box is. So I already have 102 and I'll come here to have 102. Here is going to be 102. So I have these together now. They are 102, but it's showing that the height is different. So this height is 22 and this is telling me 24. So I'm just going to make it equal. Now this is what I have, and then I can delete this and then bring this way. So I already have my prototype because it's just one that I drag, change the contents, and then add this. So I'll be picking this one, view all. So I'm going to pick it, and then I'll come here and I'll paste it. So once I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to place it this way and this, and then I'm going to align vertical and then make it auto layout, and then check the space between both of them. I think I'm good to go. So the next thing we are going to see, let's see how it turned out to be. This is what I have. This is my CEO. Now my color did not change. My arrow color did not change. So I'll go back to where I did that, and then I'll change my arrow. I'm going to change that to main color, and I'm going to make sure that this is actually carrying my black color. And I'm good to go. So let's see. Now the color has aligned very well. So the next thing I'm going to design is that section that has different restaurants. So which is this. So I'm going to get 5 restaurants picture, and I'm not going to use this because you can use this, but I'm not going to use this. Let's create our own. So I'm just going to pick this instead of coming back to this section. So I'm just going to pick this to drop it this way. So let's drop it this way and add a background so I can see what they did here. So while we go and get our pictures, we're just going to add these images here, like a rectangle here. So I'm just going to add another one here. So I'm going to use 400 for this. And I'm going to bring this way. I'm going to bring this way, and I'm going to use 350 for this. So I'm going to drag this place here. And this place here. So I'm going to use this 375. I'm going to bring it this way. So I have this. Now let's go and get the right image for that. So I'm going to click here. So I'm going to open my own splash. Okay, so let's look for restaurant. So now let's look for the perfect picture for this our design. One. I think I'll have to use longer. So it's loading. So let's go back and see why it's delaying. Okay. Okay, we have this. Now let's scroll and see if we can get other images. So remember I said anyone that has this unlock with lock icon, is the images are not free because you have to make payment for it. So I'm just going to get other images. So I need to feed my eyes to see the ones that are very, very good for my design. So I'm going to move this way and I'm going to click on this rectangle. I'm going to use, let me use a bright one. So I'm going to use this. Okay, so let's wait for it to load, for it to reflect here. Okay, so I'm going to just move this here. I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm just going to drag this down a little bit here. And then let's change this image. I think I'll have to change this one. I think I'll have to change this one. So I'm trying to get a nice image to replace this one because both of them are together. Okay, getting a nice image might take time. Okay, I think I like this, but the image is actually going to look long. Okay, let's see how it turns out to be. But the image is actually going to look long. Okay, it's not bad. So let's preview and see what we've done so far. Okay, I think this is not bad. This is okay. I'm thinking of changing this image. Thinking of changing this. So let's see if we can get better image. Most of what this one's showing are not free images. You can use it though, but how will you be using an image that has watermark? Let's just scroll to the top and see if I can change it. So let's come to the top. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's use this let's use that one I just saw. Okay, so let's use this. Okay, so I need to cancel this and try again. I don't know why it's taking time. Let's see if I have a page. Okay, let me try another thing. Okay. Not getting what I want, so I think we'll have to go with this particular one. So let's see how it turned out to be. Okay. While looking at it, it's not bad. It's just that I wanted a brighter image here. Um, I wanted a brighter image here, but looking at it is not bad. So I'm just going to take out the color of this rectangle that is attached to it. So I'm just going to take them out. So I'm going to click on all of them. And then, so I'm going to click on them and take them out. So I'm going to take them out. So I'll take them out. And also take this out. Because remember, we actually placed a rectangle to create that. So I'm just going to hold all of them and give them corner radius of 10. I'm going to give them corner radius of 10. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a fill color for them. This is showing me white. So I'm just going to undo that. And then I'll hold it and add fill color just to make it a little bit darker. So a little bit darker, a little bit darker, and it's let's see what we've done so far. Okay, this is it, but I wanted to change it, but not bad. So now the next thing I'm going to add is going to be the restaurant name, how much is their food and delivering fee, and how many minutes it's going to take. So that is why I picked this. So I'm just going to duplicate this here. So I'm just going to duplicate this. So once I duplicate this is how it's going to be. 20 semi-bold. So I'm just going to say the name of this restaurant is Take Away. Take Away, fast food, whatever you want to use. This is going to be Take Away fast food. So the next thing I'm going to add is how much it costs and their delivery fee, and I'm going to get a food icon. So I'm going to search for my food icon. So I'll be using another icon, or maybe the plates. Okay, I think I'll have to use the one I saw. So I'll be using this icon, this one. So I'll just drag it in and then I'll close it. So do I need any other icon? Yes, I need time icon. But before I continue, I have to reduce this one to 24. So I have to reduce to 24 and I have to bring it in here. Bring it in here. And then I'll get my time. So I'm going to use 24. 24. I'm going to place it here. So this is going to be the time. So sorry, the amount. So I'm going to use 3,000. So before we continue, so I'm going to change this. Remember, I'm going to use my black color for this. So I'll be using my black here and I'll be using my gray here. So I'll have to reduce this to regular. So I think I'll have to use medium 16. So let's go and get Naira sign. So I'm going to change this icon to the color that I'm using for my text. So I'll be using gray and also here I'll be using gray. So here I'm going to reduce, I'm going to duplicate this and then I'll say 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to hold this together and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to move this time here and this one. So all I have to do is just to click on this icon and bring it this way. And then I'm going to hold this and then give them spacing. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to increase the weight of this amount so it will be visible enough. And I'm going to hold this together. I'm going to do the same thing here. Click on this, bring it this way. And I'm going to hold this and hold this and then make it auto. And I'm going to adjust the space here. And I'm going to hold this together and then make it auto. Now you can see that we've achieved this. So I'm going to bring this here and I'm going to hold this together. So I'm just going to drag this to this point and I'll drag this to this place. I'll just come here and then play around with the spacing here. Now let's see what we've done so far. This is what we've done so far. Now, what I created is not inside the frame, so I'm just going to bring that inside the frame. I'm going to hold this, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to hold it again, and then I'll bring it in. So I'm going to bring it in, and this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to adjust it and then duplicate and then set for all these ones. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to place this here. So I'm going to make this text bold. I'm thinking of this, okay, so that the restaurant name will be visible enough. So before I was using 20, sorry, this is how it's going to have to be. So I'm going to reduce the spacing here. Okay, I think this is okay, or you can choose to add it this way and then reduce the spacing here. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'm just going to duplicate for other section here, 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 and here. Now I'm going to adjust all of them and then make it hot layout. So I'm just going to bring this here, place it this way. Now this is actually not aligned. Okay, it's aligned very well. So I'm just going to change this to relax fast food. I'm just going to say 2K per plate. So you can just bring this here and this here. And once you are done, just make it auto. Yeah. Same thing here. So I'm just going to give this a name. So whatever I did here, that's the same thing I'm trying to do here. So I'm just going to hold it to auto layout. So I'm going to hold this two, and then now this space between here is too much. So I'm just going to hold this and then get the space in here and then make it 8. This is it. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did for here for this place. So I'll bring it here. So this is going to be like bar. So I'm just giving it a random name, bar and enjoy. So yeah, I can choose to add a bottle if you want to, but I'm not going to change the icon there. I'm just going to use the icon. So I'm just going to come here to reduce this the space because I don't want it to be out. I'm just going to hold this and then make it just lay out. So the same thing I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to reduce this one here and this one here. I'm going to hold it up here and then adjust the left. So this is what I have. So I'm going to hold all of them and then make sure that all of them is having the same spacing. So I'm just going to add 8 for all of them to align very well. So I'm going to do this same thing for here and then make it 8 as well. So I'm just going to see what I've done so far. So this is what I have done so far. So I'm going to hold all of them, auto layout, and then align it very well. So I'm going to hold these two auto layout first, this and this auto layout, and then this auto layout. So this is what I have, and I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. And then I'm going to just drag this to this point and this to this point. So once I drag this to this point, I'm just going to place at the center. I'm going to place it at the center. So once I place this at the center, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to hold this here and drag it here, 80. So you can just come here and then type 80. Automatically has the space between the two of them, 80. So I'm done with this section, I'm done with this section, and I'm done with this section. So I'm just going to hold this here and then make it 60. So now this is what I have done so far. So I have my header, hero, the first section on the body, and the second section of the body. So this is what I have. So the next part I'm going to design is going to be this part, this part. So now this is what I'm going to design. And I'm thinking of adding this illustration, but I think I'll have to use this their icon that they used here, because adding an image it might just make it look somehow. So I'm just going to create the next section. So I'm going to bring my rectangle here. I'll drop it here like this. And then I'm going to share the rectangle, like divide it into three, like share it into three. Then I'll zoom in. So I don't want to start this from here. I just want it to be from this section. So I'm just going to move it. So I'm going to zoom in. So I'm trying to create this here. So I'm going to use rectangle to get the size. I don't just want to copy the size and do. I want to create my by myself. So now I have created this now. The space between this is 168 and the space here is 168. But now is if you hold the three of them together, you see that there is no space here and it's giving us minus, which is their inside. So what I want to do is I want to reduce the width to have space in between here. So I'll just assume I'll just use 320 to see how it turn out to be. So I'm going to hold this together. I'll just make them equal like this. And then I'm going to give a corner radius of 20. And I'm going to change it to be white. So I'm just going to move it here to white, to our white color. So I'm going to add a drop shadow for it, because this is what I want to create, something like this. This is what I want to create, something like this. So I'm going to go back to my design. So I think the height is too much. So I'm just going to make the height 500. And I'm going to come here to play around with the shadow. So first thing first, I'm going to turn this off. So let's turn it off so we can see what we are doing. So I'm going to add this stroke first. So I'm going to add, I don't want to add this stroke round. I just want it to be only at the bottom. So I'm just going to hold these three of them, click here and only here. So my stroke is just at the down. So now let's play around with our drop shadow. So I'm going to use our lighter gray color, and I'm going to hold the three and then play around with the drop shadow. So this is what I'm going to drag this here. I'm going to make this 40. So I'm going to make this, so let's play around with this color. So I want to drag this color. I want to take this color here, but I don't know what is going on. Maybe I'm not clicking it very well. So I'm going to take this here. So let's see 30 and see how it turn out to be. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the opacity from 25 to 12. And let's see how it turn out to be. Okay, so this is what I have. So let me preview and see how it looks like here. Okay, so this is what I have here. So which is not bad. So I'm going to take it a little bit down. Let's see. Okay, so this is not bad. So I think we are good to go, and then we can turn it up. So I have created something similar to this. Now we're going to add our title text and then this. So I'm going to bring my title text. So I'll be using the title text I use here. So for consistency, so I'll be using this one. So I'm going to just bring my text, place it here, and then select 32 and so I'm trying to design this. So I'm going to drag it down, and I'll make sure that the space between the left and the right is equal and the space between them are the same thing. I'm going to bring this here. So this is what I have. So I'll be using 32. Okay, so I'm trying to create this. So I already have this here. So I'll just copy them and just drag to my design, and then I'll keep it here. So once I keep it here, I'll just come here and then change the color to my color, and then change this lighter shade color to be my color like this. So because I'm using my own color for the design, so I'm just going to drag this and bring it here. So I'm going to make this, make it auto layout. This is how it's going to be. But I'm not going to do it auto layout, and I will not do it grouping. So all I have to do is just frame selection here and then drop it this way. I'm just going to do the same thing here, hold it like this, frame selection. And then the same thing here, and then I'll hold the two of them and drag it up. So once I'm done, I'm going to use the right font size for this. So I'll just have to duplicate this, bring it here. I will not be using text tool this time around. I'll be using page tool. So I'm just going to place it here and say order now. So I'm going to come here. Here is going to be okay. Let me see what they wrote on their own. So we have order via app, choose your food and enjoy. Similar to what we use for the onboarding. So here is going to be order. So this is what we have. So we're going to duplicate this for our body text. So yeah, I don't have to stress myself. I just have to go and copy this text. So I can just come here, highlight and copy some text. So come like this, Control V, Command C, on Control C. come here and then paste it. So once I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. I'll just come inside here and then reduce this text. So once I reduce it, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to place this text at the center. So I'm just going to place this text at the center this way, and then I'll reduce the right up because I just need just small right up. So this is what I have. So I'll just have to expand it this way. So I'm going to hold these two together. Auto layout. I'm going to duplicate this here. And I'm also going to duplicate this here. So once I'm done, I'm going to hold these two together, auto layout. I'm going to hold this, sorry, I'm going to hold this, and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to hold the three of them together to have the same spacing and the same alignment. So it's going to be at the center. So I'm going to hug this text. So if I don't hug this text, this space is going to affect my setting. So I'll just have to cover up this space this way. Same thing for here. And this is already okay. So you can just make it this way. So this is what I have. So I'm going to use this spacing here. So I'm going to hold it to all of them and then make the spacing between each of them to be 20. And I'll move to the top. So I'm going to move this to the center here. This to the center here. So let's see how it turned out to be. So I'm going to preview and see how it will be. Okay, so this is nice, but the rectangle is too much. So let's arrange before we can reduce the rectangle. So I'm going to set this auto layout, this and this, auto layout, this and this, auto layout. So what we have here is we are having the space between each of them 58. So I will not be using 58. I'll be using 40 between each of them, and I'm going to make sure that all of them is aligned the same way, and I'm going to hold this and this and then make it auto layout. So if I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to make these two auto layouts. So I'm going to hold this and this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. And then I can now reduce the height to whatever number I want to use. So this is what I have. And then I will now make auto layout and then align to the center. So once I align to the center, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to arrange this place and then make everything auto layout. So this is how it looks like. So let's go back and see if they add any text. No, they did not add any text. And then let's continue. So I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm going to reduce the spacing here. So I'll be using 30. And then I'm going to add auto layout and then expand this to here and this to this place. So once I expand this to this, I'm going to hold this and then align to the center. So this is what I have. So I'm going to make this space between them to be. So I'm going to hold this and then drag it this way and then place at the center. So that if I add here, it's just going to be 60. So I have 60 here. So I have created some part of my landing page. So let's preview the work and see what we've done so far. So I want this thing, if my cursor touch it should change to the colored background, and if my cursor touch it should like change when my cursor just touch on it, instead of having a white background, it should automatically change to the color background. Same thing we did for this place. So what we are going to do is we're just going to bring out one of these. So I'm just going to bring it out here. So I'm just going to drag it here. And we've already set what we want. So I'm just going to create this as a component and I'll also make it as a variant here. So I'm going to change this to the normal color. So first thing first is I'm going to change this background color to be I'm going to change it to be our primary color. So this is what I have. So I'm going to change this stroke to be the lighter color of this. And I'm going to change this text to be white. This to be white. And I'm going to change this color to be, I'm going to hold my own icon and then change it to be white. And I'm going to change this color to be gray like this. Okay. Let's see. I don't want to use white to cover this other one. So I'm just going to use this color this way. So let's play around with this color. I'm going to take this out and okay. So let's see if we already have something similar to that. Okay, we already do, which is primary color too. So this is what I have, and I'm trying to see if I can get it. Now, this is what we have. I want if my cursor touch it, it will just change to this. So I've changed, like I've done what I want. I've gotten the size, and I've gotten the size the way I want it. So all I have to do is just to drag the first one and do the same hover stains we did for the text link, just the same way. You just come to this place, drag it here. So once you drag it, you have your settings, and this is going to be hover, and then you go. So you're going to now copy this. So you're now going to copy this, come back to your design, copy this, and come to this place you've done auto layout already, and just paste it. So once you paste, you can now delete the first one. So you're going to do the same thing for. So I'm just going to drag this out. So I'm going to drag this out, and I'm also going to drag, sorry, I'm going to, don't drag. If you drag, you're going to scatter your whole auto layout setting. So what you're going to do, just duplicate or you copy anyone that worked for you. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. Make these components, add variants, sorry. Make these components, add these variants, then change this color. So I'll be using this color. So I'm going to start from here. So I'll be using white here. So I'm going to pick this white. And I'm going to hold this and then make it color background. So this is what I have. So I'm going to change this to color 2. So I'm going to change the stroke to color 2 as well. Yeah. Okay, I didn't use color 2. What I use is color 3. Yeah. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to add components, variants, just the same thing we did here. So I'm just going to hold this one, make it white, this white, and so I'm going to make this white, and I'm going to go to get the other color. So I'm going to use turmeric 2. So I'm just going to change the background to this. So this is what I have. So okay, yeah, I use turmeric color 1 and this. I think I like how this turned out to be. So let's use main color. I think this is fine. Okay. So the last thing remaining is just this color. No, yeah, it's true. Yes, just this color to permanent color 3. So I have this, okay, 2, I used 2, not 3. So I have this, I need to be sure what I do. Okay, 3. Yeah. Sorry guys, please give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, back. Okay, so I want to get the exact stroke for here. So I think I use color 3. I'm going to hold the 3 of them and then get the color. So it's showing me that I use a different color here. So I'm going to use 3 for it. Okay, so we are good to go. So I'm just going to copy this. Control C, Command C, come to this place, paste it, delete this other one, copy this as well. So I'm going to copy this, come here, paste it. So I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to now remember all these things we've created. We're going to add it in our style guide. So I'm going to check, go to my prototype, and I'm going to do the same thing I did for that test link. So this is what I'm just going to do, the same thing. Come to this place. So I'm just going to drag this and take it up. Where are you running to? So I'm just going to place it this way. I'll come back to my design. So now let's see what we've done here. So I'll come to this place. Now you can see. So this is what we've done. I'm so happy because it turned out so well. So this is what we've done. And now let's continue. So the next thing we are going to design is this particular section. So I'll be looking at this section and I'm thinking of doing something better than this, but I'm going to allow us to bring up a suggestion. Should we do something like this or should we do something like this? Now the floor is open for everyone to suggest what they think is better for our design. Guys, are you there? Shego, Marvelous, Adebayo, Roland.
Yes, ma, we are here, ma.
Okay. Maureen, Adeze, Michael Samuel, Confidence. Oh yeah, the floor is open for Oluchi, Blessing John. I'm calling your names. Oh yeah, what do you think? Should we design what they already have here or we should go with it? So which one do you think is better for our design? Which one do you think, which of them is better for this section? Oh yeah, oh.
Let's go for the other one. The one that has the food background in it.
Okay. Any other person? Black one. Okay. Any other person? The second one. Any other person? Everybody must say something, no? Destin John is not on this call.
Yeah, ma'am.
Typing. Anyone, any of the two. Okay. Destin John, I didn't get you.
I said I'm here, ma'am. Because the hair is too busy. I can't really hear you.
Hey, your network is breaking. I didn't get you. Okay, Choma said second one. Adesi, yes, there's attendance, but it's not now. Adebayo said he will go with the class rep choice. Okay. Okay, Victor is typing. I just need to understand if you guys understand UI design principles. So that's why he said second one. Victor said second one. Favor is typing. Second one. Okay. Okay, so let's go by choice, by your tutor's choice. So my choice is the first one, because the reason why we can't go with the second one is because now let's come to this protocol. Let me show you something. So by the time we add that color here, remember we already have color card here, and we're adding that color to now look like it's having too much color. So I think we'll have to go with this darker one. So I already have this image here. So I'm just going to bring it this way. And I'll place it at the center here. So I have this. So I can choose to add it, create all of them all layers, but let's just do the one we're done. We can create layers. So this is what I have. Now to achieve this dark background, we're going to do it. So what I'm going to do, I already have the image. So what I'm just going to do is just to add a color to the image. So this is how it's going to look like. So there's no need of adding rectangle. There's no need of adding frame. All you have to do is just click on the image and click on this plus sign. Automatically it becomes dark, and then you can now play around to get a dark color. So I'm just going to take it this way and then play around with the opacity to have it this way. So once I'm done, I'm just going to see how it turn out to be. I'm hungry. I'm designing a food landing page. Okay, so let's see how it turn out to be. I think this is better, but I think I'll have to draw it to get to my line, because I want everything to be aligned to the left very, very well. So I think excluding this section, excluding this card section. So I'm just going to take my image to get to this line. So I'll go back to my design, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to adjust this to this place, and I'll adjust this to this place. And I'm going to increase the height by 400. And so this is what I have. So let's see how it turn out to be. Okay. So I think this is better. So I'm going to add now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add this text and then my button. So I'm just going to come here. I'm going to duplicate my button here. You can choose to duplicate your button from here or from your style guide. So I'm just going to duplicate this my button here. So I'll just take it here. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. So I'm going to increase it. So I'll make it black, 000 black. Now I'm going to increase the opacity a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to drag this in here. So I'm going to bring it to the top. So I'm just going to use my brackets key after P, letter P on your keyboard. So I'm just going to bring it to the top. So the other one is back and the other one is at the top. So let's see how it turned out to be. Okay, this is okay. And I'm going to add my text. So I'm going to use the same text I used for my hero. So I'm going to use the same text. So I'm going to bring it out and I'll just take it here and then I'll drop it here. So I'm just going to align to the center and then bring it this way. So this is what I have, and I'm going to do auto layout to read. It's at the center, and then I'm going to hold this and make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be aligned to the center. Now the space between this text and this button is too much, so I'm just going to reduce it to 60 or even 50, and then make sure that it's aligned to the center. And this is what I have. So let's see what we've done so far. So this is what we've done so far. So I'm just going to make this image a little bit darker. So I'm going to click on this image, come and then say 80. I just want it to be a little bit darker. So 80 is too much. I'm just going to make it 70. So this is how it turned out to be. And I'm going to just add auto layout to it and then take it this way and take it this way. So once I take it this way, I'm just going to give it, it is more than our margin. So I'm just going to come here and then make it 80. This is how it turned out to be. So I'm just going to check the spacing between here and then make it the normal 60. So let's see what we've done so far from the beginning. So this is what we've done so far. And this is it, this is it, and this is it. So the next place we are going to design is going to be FAQ. So we've done this how it works. We've done this menu. Which is this restaurants. We've done how it works, which is this. So the next section we are going to work is the FAQ. And the next one is going to be contact us, and then we are good to go, and then we have the footer. So let's go back to our design. I think somebody dropped a message. Oh, sorry. So the next part I'm going to design is the FAQ. So I'm just going to take this font size here, and I'm going to change it to frequently. Okay, so I'm just going to change this text to frequently asked questions. So the meaning of FAQ is frequently asked question. So I'm just going to reduce this text. So I'm just going to place it to the center, I'm going to bring it down. So now I want to design FAQ. So here we don't have any FAQ. So but I'm just going to add that. So what we already have here is the testimonial. So I'm just going to add my own FAQ. So I'm going to bring this text here. So here we are having 32. Yeah, yes, we are having 32. So 32 looks more like a header text. So I won't be using 32 for the title text. So what I'm going to for the title text, because this is more looking like a heading text for header. So here we're going to use instead of using 32, so I'm going to use 22. So this is 22 bold, right? Yes, I'm going to be using 22. So I'm going to create some questions and answer, but everything is going to be auto layout, and I'll make them interactive. So let's create something like that. So So first thing first, I'm going to get my open and close icon. So I need you guys to actually pay attention to this section because it's going to be very, very a little bit difficult. In fact, it's going to be very difficult, but not difficult for me, though it might be very, very tricky when trying to do this. So I'm just going to use write some random question. Let's say how do I order okay, I'm trying to write some question. How do I order from a restaurant? Why am I always missing this in this restaurant? So I'm going to get this is so I'm going to use, I think I'll have to use 24. So I'm going to get my plus and minus icon. So let's go and get the icon. So I need you guys to actually pay attention to this section because I want to do something that is very, very tricky. So let's get our plus and minus icon. So I have my plus. So I'm going to use this one that has this corner here or this. So I hope it's 24, yes. So I'm going to drag it in here and I'm going to get my minus. So I'm going to use this, yeah. I'm going to drop it here. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to make this auto layout and I'm going to scale it. So I'll be using 36 and I need it to be very big. So I'll be using 48 and I'll also be using 48 here. Now I'm going to hold the two of them and just align and then give it corner radius of 20 and then I'm going to give it a fill color. So I'm going to use my black. Okay, I'm going to just let's use our black. So I'm going to give it a fill color. So I'm going to give it a fill color of this. So I need it to be very, very big. So I'll come here and I'll make it 50. Yeah, 50. So here I'm going to make it 30. I need to have this round corner. So this is what I have. So okay, I think the size is okay. So I'm going to get my body text. So I'm just going to duplicate from the second one, sorry. So I'll just duplicate from the second one. I'll just drag and scroll down. So once I drag and scroll down, this is what I'm going to have here. So I'm just going to keep it this way. So I'm using 16 regular. So let's see how it look like. So let's see 16 and let's see 16. Okay, let's use 18. I think 18 is perfect. So I'm going to use 18. Now I'm going to bring this guy here. So I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to make this auto layout. So once I made this auto layout, this is how it's going to be. So that it has this icon they are outside. That's why it's not reflecting here again. So I'm going to bring it in. So I think it actually moved to this fixed here. So I'm just going to hold it here and bring it down to scroll. I want only the header to be fixed at a position. Now it's back. So I'm going to change this black inside to white. So let's see if we can reduce the icon a little bit to 24. So I'm going to hold this and then align to the center. Yeah. So I'm going to make this fill container. So if I make it fill container, that's how it reacts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, once I've done this auto layout, I'm going to make it auto layout again. So I'm going to take this out. I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to place this here, and I'm going to drag this here. So once I drag this here, I'm going to hold this inside and then make it fit container. So it automatically becomes fit container. So I'm going to keep this here. Going to bring this here. So let's give it a fit color. So I'm going to give this a fit color. So I'm going to use the lighter shade of my gray. Okay, lighter shade of my gray is almost looking like a gray. So I'm just going to remove it and then use this color for it. So let's turn out to CIP. Okay, I think this is okay. So I'm going to give it corner radius of 10. So this, I'm going to place this here. So I'm going to drag this to this point. So I'm going to get my line here, make it the same line here. So click on done. Or come here, I'll use my lighter shade of gray. I'll hold the two together and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm going to make it another auto layout. So if I make it auto layout, I'm going to hold all the elements inside. So I'm going to hold all the elements inside and make it fit container, and then the line to be also fit container, and this one to be fit container. So once I make it fit container, I'm just going to drag to see if it is responsive. If you can just drag it and just paste it in the mobile. So it's actually responsive. So we are going to drag this down and then try this one too, if it's responsive. So I'm going to drag it this way. So if I drag it this way, I can see that look at what happened now. So I'm just going to undo that, click on this and make it fit container. So I think this is okay, because if we reduce it to this, we actually have the right size for mobile. So I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to add it a fit color. So I'm going to add this a fit color. So I'm just going to pick this color. Now, this is what I have here. So I'm just going to align it and make sure that both of them are in the same line. So I'm just going to bring this here and this here. So let's see how it turned out to be. This is how it turned out to be. So this is what we have here. So this icon is actually looking too big. So let's go and reduce this icon. So I'm going to hold this icon and I'm going to hold this icon, and then I'll come here and reduce it to 48. Not 48, let's say 40. Okay, I think this is better. So I'm just going to hold this and then align to the center. And let's see how it turns out to be. Okay, I think this is better. So I think we just have to reduce only this icon inside. So I'm just going to use 18. So I'll have to use 18. Let's see. Okay, I think this is better. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to place at the center, and I'm going to make this 18. So I'll have to make it 18 here. I think this is better, and I'll have to change this to white. So this is what we have. So we want to make this place interactive. When a user clicks here, it drops down. A user closes, it changes. So I'm going to come back to my design. So I've got the width of what I want. So I'll just have to reduce this a little bit, and then I'll make this to auto layout. So once I make this auto layout, I'm just going to give this a fit color. So I'm going to pick this color for it. So I'm going to reduce, let's take it out. since I've already gotten the space I want. So I'm just going to give it space. Okay, I think this is better. So let's drag this to this point and then give it spacing inside the auto layout. So I've gotten what I want. So I'm going to take this outside. So let's take this outside and then let's give it padding. So I'm going to scroll to my auto layout and I'm going to give it padding of, let's say 20. Okay, this is what we've done. So I'm going to change this color to main color. I'm going to change it to main color. I'm going to scroll here to fill. So we already have this. So we have this, which is nice. So I'm going to give it corner radius of 10. Now I'm going to make this a component. So I'm going to add variant. So I've added this as a variant. Now I want, if I click on this on the prototype, it should automatically drop instead of creating different ones here. I just want to play with the interaction when I'm previewing the design. I don't want to place it here. So that is what I'm trying to achieve. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this icon. So this is a way I normally add icon inside my already an element I've done in AutoLayer. This is how I normally do. So I'll just come here, I will copy, I'll go and click on that icon. So once I click on that icon, I will just paste it. So once I paste it, I can now delete the other one. So this is what I'm going to have. So I'm going to click this. Let me change the color to main color. So this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name this as card. So I'm going to scroll here, come to this place and name it as card. So once I name it as card, so I'm going to make the clause to be open. Open, yes. And this minus is going to be close. So this is going to be close. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I noticed that the space between the both of them, this and this, is too much. So I'm just going to hold open and close. So I think I didn't name. Okay. So I'm just going to reduce the space here. So I'll be using 20 here, and I'll also be using 20 for this. So I'm just trying to reduce this space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this text here and this text here. So I'm going to come to this place and make this and create this text as a text property. So make sure you're holding the text and these two. You're holding the two texts together. You come to this place, click on it, and then make it a text property. So the name should just be text, and I'm going to create as a property. So once I create as a property, I'm going to just hold for close and then turn it off. So this is what I have. So I'm going to make a prototype and then see what we've done. So I'm just going to click on only this icon, come to my prototype and make it this way. So this is actually not going to be, this is going to be click, but it's not going to be instant. So I'm just going to make it to be smart animate. So just like, drop down with style. And I'm going to return the same settings here to this place. And it's going to carry the previous settings. So once I'm done, I'll just return back to my design and then I'll just drag out one. So once I drag out one, this is how it's going to be. So now okay, so I forgot to do something. So, but before you would drag, you have to, okay, so after you're done doing the prototype, before you drag, then you come to this plus and then make it, you click on this open and then change it to yes, and then come to this close and then change it to no. So once you've changed it to no, this is how it's going to look at. Then you can now drag the card, either the yes or the no. So I don't know why this is actually hanging. So I'm just going to drag this out. So once I drag this out, I'm just going to align to the left. So Figma has this way of automatically converting any element that is yes or no in component into a toggle button like this. So this is what is going to turn out to be instead of having a drop down. So it automatically turns to a toggle button. Now let's arrange this. So I'm going to delete this. I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to hold this and this. Okay, no, I'm going to hold this here. So now let's play around with the prototype and see what we've done so far. So I'm going to come back to my prototype. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to open it. Now, this is what I have. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to take this to the top. So I'm going to paste it here and let's just take it to the top. I'm going to cover this here. So I'm going to come back to my design. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to close it this way. I'm going to hold this, make it auto layout. So I'm just going to duplicate this. So I'm just going to Ctrl D, Command D. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. So if you just, there's no need for you dragging that. You just come here, click on this toggle button. Automatically, it shows you the text and you close it. Automatically, the text disappears. So now let's see what we've done so far on the prototyping. Let's come here. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit. And if I click here, this is how it turned out to be. And this is how it turned out to be. So even if we close all this is how it turned out to be. So now let's check if this is actually responsive. So I'm going to hold the 5 of them or 6 of them and then check if it's responsive. So it's actually responsive, of which you can just bring and paste inside your phone frame. So I'm going to undo that. So this is what we've done. So we've created the FAQ section. So the next section we're going to create is going to be the contact us. So the next part we are going to design is going to be, let's turn off this grid and see what we are designing. So the next section we are going to design is going to be the FAQ, and then let me leave this out. So and then we can now do our footer and then do the last prototyping from the full page, like just one prototyping on this screen. So the next part I'm going to design is going to be the FAQ. Somebody dropped a question. He said, is it the same procedure when doing for different questions? Yes. So now when we've done, so the only thing you're going to do here is just to come here and change. So let's come here and see what are we going to change. So let's say, can I pay on delivery? I'm just going to move this text here. This should be, so but we make sure that before this you actually move line, you need to set everything from the beginning. So you just come here, it's only the question you will just change. Yes, can I get how much food do I need to buy before getting a discount? Now you can see that this has been. So what you just need to do is just to come here. So just come here and hold this way. This is it. And then you return back the text, the one you are using. So same thing here. So you can just change your question. But before all these things will work, now you see that when I was trying to adjust this icon here did not shake, just this text. So you need to set it to be aligned very well so that whenever you're just changing the text, it will not affect this icon. If not, you have to go back to this to make that adjustment. So I'm going to attach you a video on how to create only these things. So I'm just going to, after class now, I'm going to send a video where you will learn how to create only these things. I think the explanation is very clear. That was where I learned it from. So I'm going to send a video for you. You will learn how to do this alone. So the next thing we are going to design is going to be the contact us. So I'm thinking of how to design it. So I think I'm not enjoying this color. So I think I'll have to come to here and then see if I can play around with the color. So I'm just going to hold this and this and come to this fill color and then see if I can change it this way. So let's see how it turns out to be. Okay, I think this is good, but it's giving this reddish here. So I'll be using F2. So I'll come here and I'll use F2 here too. So let's see how it turns out to be. Okay, so this is actually giving me this gray color. I'm using F6. So I'll be using FD for it, and I'll come here and use FD. So let's see. It's not visible enough. I think it's fair enough. So the next part I'm going to be designing is the contact us. So thinking of how to design that part. I think we can just skip it because of time. I think we can just skip it and let's design the footer. So the footer, I will not be doing with this kind of footer. I think I have to create a better footer. So I'm just going to come here. So I'll just come here. I'll come to this part. I'm going to create another text link for it. But before that, so let's come here to create footer. So I'll be using a darker color for my footer. I won't be using white background. So I'm going to hold this and this. Please don't forget to always hold once you are done, just make that section auto layout. I'm just going to take this to this place and this to this place. And then I'll come here, align to the center, and then add my 80 to be at the center. So I'm just going to hold here to make sure that it is 60. So before that, I'll have to drag this way and then make it 60. Okay, so I'm going to create my footer. So let's go and get our logo. Okay, so I locked it. So I'm going to click here and then take me to our logo. So you need to take me to the logo. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to scroll to get our logo. I'm just going to cut it. So I'm going to turn it, lock it again. I'm going to scroll here. Then I'm going to paste it. So I have my logo here. So I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to scroll up and turn it on. So this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll have my logo here. So I'm going to make this logo to be very big. So I want it to be very big. So I'm going to scale this logo. I'm not going to stretch it, but I'm going to scale it. So it remain the same size and to just increase this way. So I'm going to use this way and I'll come back to move and I'll remove this my font from decimal place and I'll take out the 0.6 and I'll use 28. So I'm just going to see if I can duplicate this text out. So you can copy, come here and then paste it. So trying to create our footer. I'm just going to come here, reduce it. So I'll be using all this lengthy text. It's too much. So I just think I'll have to reduce from here. Just have to stop here. So I'm going to move this and then make this auto layout. So I think something is outside. I'm just going to move this text outside, click out, and then bring it inside. Automatically will play inside. So I'm just going to hold this together, make it auto layout, and then adjust this way. So this is what I have. So I want to create other text here. So I'm just going to duplicate this out. So I'm just going to bring it out here. So I'm going to duplicate this again. So I'm just going to make this like a title text. So this is going to be black and I'm going to use brown. So this is going to be like okay, let me see what this people wrote. Okay, so it's like about partner with us. Okay, so this is going to be about us. So I'm trying to copy this text this way. I'm going to go back to what I'm using. So I'm just going to change this as information. So I'm going to take this out and then I'll have this text. Then I'm going to use regular. So I'm just going to duplicate this. So I'm just going to make this auto layout. So I'm just going to make this auto layout and then I'll have to duplicate. Then I'm going to hold this together and then make it straight. So I'm just going to duplicate, and I'll hold this. And then I'll just make the spacing between them to be 20. And let's see if the information is too much. So I can just use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just pick out this, or 6 is okay. So I can make the space between them to be 10. Then I'll make this auto layout. And then I'll place it at the center. So I'm just going to zoom in to place this at the center here. So I'm just going to hold all this together. So I'm just going to hold this together. I'm going to duplicate. I'm just going to duplicate. Just going to duplicate. So this is going to be like our restaurants, or wherever you want to write our restaurants. I'm just going to expand this. I'm going to hold this to expand this. And this is going to be like privacy policy. I'm just going to hold this together, and then I will align here, and I will align it horizontally. I'll make it auto layout. And then I'll hold this together and I'll make it auto layout. And I'll move it to the top, and then I'll close this space. So if this space is too much, I'm just going to reduce them by using 30, and I'm going to hold this and then reduce the space to be maybe 100. Let's see how 100 is, and let's see how it turn out to be here. Okay, so I think this is okay. So we're just going to add maybe any information we want to add here. So I'm going to reduce this, and this space here is too much. This space here are too much. So I'm just going to hold these three together. So I'm going to click inside these three. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to reduce the space to, so I'll be using 15 here. So 15 is okay. I'll be holding this and I'll reduce it to 20 here. So I'll have to reduce this text here. So let's reduce this text here and let's reduce this. Yeah. So this is what I have. And the next thing I'm just going to use, let's see how these people filter is. So we can add maybe contact information, get in touch and all. So I think I'm going to add my social media link here, and I'm going to add get in touch, contact us and all. So I'm just going to take out this. So I think I'll have to take this out because this is okay. This is actually going to make it look so crowded, but I don't want my footer to be so crowded with so much text. So I'm just going to take this, take out from what's layout. So I'm going to take this out from auto layout. So here is going to be contact us. So I'm going to make here, so here is going to be address. So I'll just use a random address. Okay, so this is a random address I'm using. So the next thing I'm going to do here is just bring this. So the next one is going to be email address. So this is going to be mavifood at example.com. So this is going to be like the phone number +223. And there it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is what we have. I'm just going to take this out. So I'll come here, bring this here. I can choose to duplicate this. So the spacing I have here is the spacing between all these is 10. So I'm just going to hold this, hold this, hold this, and hold this, and then make them align them, and then use spacing of 10. So here I'm going to just make the address to be complete. So here I'm going to say Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. So I'm going to hold this. So I'm just going to highlight all this and then make it auto layout. So the space between this is the space between them is 15. So I'm just going to hold this and then make it 15. So once I make it 15, I'm just going to take this out, and then I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to add the social media icon, and then I will hold all of them and then add my color. So first thing first is I'm going to get my social media icons. But before that, okay, let's get our social media icon. But before that, let's add rectangle to this. And let's use our brown color for it. So once we use our brown, I'm going to place it under. So I'm going to drag it this way. So I'm going to hold all these text. So first thing, I'm going to turn my brown to be white and turn my gray to be white. And okay, so let's turn this one to be lighter shade. That's my lighter shade of brown. So I'll be using lighter shade of gray. Okay, lighter shade of gray, sorry. And then let's add the social level. For then let's see how it turned out to be. Okay, this is not bad. So I'm going to change this to white. I'm going to come here, do this, and change that black to white. And change it this way. Okay, so this is what I have. So our social media icon is going to be here. Let's go and get our social media icon, and then we can now make everything auto layout. So I'm going to get Instagram. Just going to use this one. So I'm going to keep it here so I will not look for it. So I'm going to bring Facebook. So I'm just going to bring Twitter. So I'll be using the old Twitter logo. Nothing to show. Okay, X. Yeah. And what again? Let's use YouTube. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'm going to reduce this to the normal 24 that I selected. I'm just going to reduce this to 24. I'm just going to bring it this way. So I'm just going to highlight all of them and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to make it this way. I'm going to reduce the spacing between them 10. So if you this way. Let's make it this way. Let's change the color to be white. I'm going to drag it in. I'm going to hold it together with this, then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I'm going to hold them together and then make it auto layout. So once I make it updated, remember it has actually moved to fix. So I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to drag it to scroll. I'm going to move this meeting information here, this one here. I'll take it to the top here. So once I take it to the top, I'm going to hold this and this. So before I do that, I need to create those copyright text here. I'm just going to bring out this text here, drop it here. So this is going to be like design by me, or whatever you want to do, or anything. Let's say what is that in the normal idea? Copyright at 2024. So I'm not going to play this like this. I'm going to align to the center, and then I'll get my get this here. I will lock it this way. So I'm going to use my lighter shade of gray for it. I'm going to zoom in and hold these two together. I'm going to make it auto layout. Then I'm going to drag it this way to get to this place. I'll place it at the center. Once I place at the center, I'm just going to hold these together. Place at the center. And then I'm going to hold this rectangle. Then place at the center. What I'm going to add is here. I'm going to increase this for this color by push. So let's check this and see what we've done. So it's actually looking to reflect what I did now. 6. So I'm going to reduce this line. It's too thick. So I'm just going to click on it, go and look for it. I'm just going to close this and hold this now vector 2. So I'm just going to come here and use 0.5 here. This is what I'm going to rename it to footer. So I'm going to rename this to FAQ. So I'm just going to name this to banner. So I'm just going to name this is how it works. So this is going to be popular restaurants. So this is going to be menu. The next one is going to be this is supposed to be about us. So I think this is going to be about us. We didn't add about to this. So, and this is going to be the hero section. So we didn't add about to this. So I'm going to create for about. So I'm just going to move this guy here and duplicate this here. So I'm just going to change this to about us. I'm going to change this to about us. So that when we are doing our prototype, everything will correspond. So I'm just going to pick this here, and then I'm going to unlock my header so I can paste about us in this. So I'm just going to come here, going to hold this, and then I'm going to paste it. So once I paste, this side is going to be, so I'm just going to come here to move it to the center here. And then I'll have to play around with the spacing. I'm just going to play around with the spacing here. So I'll be using 45. So, and here I'll be reducing this to this part. So this is actually not in alt, so I'm going to move it in alt. So I'll just have to drag this in. So this is what we have. So let's see what we've done so far. So I'm going to start from the beginning and then scroll to the down to see what we've done. So we've done this about menu, how it works, FAQ, contact us, sign up. Look at the hero section. the about section, the menu section, how it works section, the banner, adverts. Then we have the FAQ. So we have this, and this. So I'm going to teach us how to do this so that when you are prototyping, you just drag in, to not scatter your work this way. So this can only work when you're just designing only the FAQ. That will work like that. So this is what we have. Now we're going to go back to that, and then we have the footer. We don't need this space, so we're going to close it. So I'm just going to hold my frame, my landing page frame, and then I'll have to use it this way. So I'm going to reduce it this way. Then let's do the main work now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. Now let's do prototype for this section. So I'm going to click on my prototype. So I'm going to click on so the logo. First thing first, I'm going to click the logo, which is here, and which is going to take us to the hero. Because if you just move it automatically, it changes for you. Then you're going to move home to be here to give it that same setting. Then we have the about to take us to this section, which is going to be click. We have the menu. So menu is going to take us to, so I'm going to scroll down. So menu is going to take us to this section. No, I changed this name. So this is not supposed to take us to, this section, menu section. So I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to click here to bring this to take us to menu section. So the next one is going to be how it works. It's going to take us to this section. Make sure you name all the sections so that you can play around with it. The next is going to be FAQ. So I'm just going to scroll to FAQ here. Make sure it's actually giving us FAQ. So the next one is going to be the contact of which we did not design it. So let's play around with our prototype. I'm going to come back here and then let's play around. So let's be sure that this has actually covered. So I'm going to click here to come to the hero section. So here I'm going to play around with about. Okay, so here it's just taking us instantly. So I'm just going to make it to look nice instead of just jumping in instantly. So I'm going to come back to my prototype, show prototype. So first thing is going to be the logo part. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to make it animate. So I'm going to come to this one too. I'll make it to, instead of instant, to animate. So let's see how it looks like. Okay. So you can just come here to say bounce. So we're going to say or flow. Okay, I think I like flow. So let's see. Let me scroll somewhere here and try it out. Okay. This is good. Okay, so I'm going to use that same setting for home here and this here. So I'm going to come from home. I'm going to use flow. So here I'm going to use, so I'm going to just click to get the settings here. Here I'm going to use bounce. So let's see how it comes out. So I'm going to scroll somewhere here and see. Okay, I think the bounce, this bounce like a ball. So I'm just going to use slow here. And let's say 600 milliseconds is okay. And let's go somewhere here and see. I think this is okay. So the next one I'm going to use is, so here I'm going to just click here, take it out from here to make it here. So here is going to be like Gen 2. So I'm going to go for menu 2. I'm going to move it to animate and then move here to Gen 2. Same thing for here. So if it doesn't work, we'll have to change the setting to what is nice. So I'm trying gentle to see how it turn out to be. So let's see. So I'm going to just check everything. Now let's see. Let's scroll. Let's click about. Okay, I think this is nice. Let's click menu. How it works. On FAQ. Okay, FAQ move instant. So I think I did not change that one. So I'm going to click here and then so far. So let's go back to the video section. We have the about, we have the menu, we have how it works, and we have this. So we click the landing page and we've done a prototype for it. I believe everyone actually understood what I did on this landing page. So you can see it's just one screen I did some interactions. But if you preview it, you're going to see the interaction. Okay, so the floor is open for questions.